Hi, everybody. Sorry for the delay. I know we're a couple minutes behind. That was my fault here. I was trying to go through and make sure I had everything ready, and then I lost track of time, and I was like, oh no. So, yeah. So welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you're all joining us today. I am well, first of all, welcome. I'm Carrie. My husband Dale and I are the creators of the From Seed to Spoon app that you may or may not be familiar with. Hopefully you all are. And I am joined today with Edvin from Smart Pots.
Hey, garden friends. Yeah, Smart Pot Edvin here, checking in from our Smart Pot World headquarters, located in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm on the inside of our 900 square foot greenhouse. It's a little bit windy here in Oklahoma City, and Carrie and Dale actually are in Oklahoma City too. They're about 20 minutes from our facility. It's at 66 degrees and super windy today. So, in the greenhouse, going to show you guys a little bit around and talk gardening with Carrie and you guys.
Yeah, so today I was planning on going through and showing everybody all of our, like everything we have growing outside and inside and on our patio and all of that. And I don't think we're going to make it outside today because you guys would not see me at or hear me at all. Because like we have sustained like 25-mile-per-hour winds with like wind gusts of 45. Like it is crazy out there. I was like, oh man. But I will get on our patio and I will show you all of that. But I figured I would start here in our seat starting area and hang out and chat with y'all. So, welcome. Oh, yes, I like this. Michelle, I want a rain check on the outdoor garden tour. For sure. Yes. And I did go out there and I grabbed a couple pictures because I was like, well, maybe I can at least like grab a couple shots. That's why I was delayed because I was like, let me get some pictures uploaded into here so I can show you guys. So I'm going to at least show you guys a couple pictures of what is growing outside right now. But yeah, we will definitely rain check on the outdoor garden areas, but I'll show you a little bit of what's going on too. So welcome. Oh, let me yeah, you see I didn't even get a chance to here. Let me get this going right here. We are super excited because Edvin is going to be I'm pulling it away. Giving away a smart pot today too, along
Yep.
with a 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription.
Be a one lucky gardener out there.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. And so if y'all aren't familiar with smart pots, I'll show you guys a few that I have around here too. But they are these fabric raised beds. You can see one of them, like a container right there behind Edvin. That purple one, I like it. And so they're essentially just fabric containers. We have several that we have used like since the beginning of gardening time, and they have worked so well for us. I love them. I'm a huge fan. So I'm very happy that Evan was able to join us and show us around the greenhouse up there at Smart Pots too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just as excited as you, Carrie.
Well, I'm excited too because I know we started some seeds up there in the greenhouse, and I want to see how those are going too because I
Yeah,
haven't seen them.
why don't we go ahead and start with that?
Yeah, show me real quick, and then
So,
we'll.
quick little glance at our greenhouse here. Our greenhouse is, like I said, we have it here on our facility. We use it as mostly R&D, figuring out different tactics of using our pots and trying out different projects. But yeah, like Dale and Carrie came over and we planted this. What is this? 18
Those.
cell? 18 cell, Carrie?
Yes, it
Yep,
is.
18 cell of the biodome. And if you guys haven't watched that video, definitely check it out. Carrie put this inside of her Park Seed app, our Seed to Spoon app. And yeah, we've been keeping track of it. And now they got to come by and we got to plant these into some smart pots.
Those are amazing looking. Wow, look at those. Those look better
Yeah,
than mine that I have growing because yours are definitely further along than me.
and Carrie, this might be a question that some people might have. So here, if you notice here, I think we might have accidentally put in two seeds into this pod.
Hmm.
So what would your recommendation be in this instance?
So that happens a lot, like for me, especially too. I do it a lot because I get heavy handed sometimes. But honestly, the best thing to do, and it is very, very painful, but if you just take some small scissors and just take off one of them, it is going to be way better for you in the long run because they won't be competing for water, nutrients, and all of that. Like they're going to be stunted. Oh, look at you. You were prepared.
Left or right? You choose, Carrie.
Oh
It's gonna
man.
be a
Maybe
very
the
sad
one
moment on
they
camera.
both look very nice, but maybe the one growing sideways a little bit. I don't know. They both look really good, so I don't think there's a right or wrong there.
I'm sorry for this.
I know it is very sad whenever you have to do that, but it definitely is better for the tomato that's left behind in the long run. And the best way to do it, like you just did with the scissors, that way you're not disturbing the roots or anything like that. Like it's yeah.
As a test, I'm gonna go ahead and try to plant this inside of a 1 gallon, since this is a
Yeah,
tomato
so
and it has a nice stem.
yeah, that is the unique thing about tomatoes because you can cut that and you can grow some new tomatoes off of that. Like I've had that happen before for me. Like I accidentally like break a stem and I'm just devastated. I'm like, "No!" But it will like I just put them in some water and root them and then plant them again. And I'm like, "There we go.
Perfect. Well, that's what I'll do. I'll save this
New
little guy,
life."
so after stream, I will go ahead and plant him up.
Nice. I love it.
Also, I don't know if you remember those microgreens. I brought one of those pots over here, and I actually deep watered them. And if you notice, all of these roots on the sides of the pots.
Oh
It's
wow.
just crazy.
Yeah, those
Yep. So these are park seed
microgreens look good.
microgreens. I mean, yes, they're amazing. We also got another lettuce growing over here from park seed. This is one of those so effortless lettuce.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, the
Super,
So
super cool.
Effortless, if you guys don't know what he's talking about, there's these So Effortless seed mats from Park Seed. They have these discs that you literally just take it and set it down into the smart pot, just cover it with a little soil, and that's it. Like it literally it's aptly named So Effortless, like really is, because it is so effortless, really.
Really. And I want to show you these. I think these were the radish microgreens. I don't think I've ever seen microgreens grow this big, but I
Wow.
definitely need to
Yeah,
harvest these.
usually I harvest them when they're a lot smaller if they're microgreens.
Yep. Oh, that's a little bit about what we going on.
Yeah. So I do have here, I'll show you all my tomatoes that I have. Ugh. So I had mine in this is a double biodome. Right here from Park Seed. So this here, I'll see if I can move the camera a little bit so you can see them. Yeah, you see, so mine aren't nearly as far along as Edvin's were. I started these probably like a good like week or two after you did probably or we did when we were up there. Yes, I feel you. It is devastating whenever you have to go through and like thin them down. Like I'm going to have to do that with this one right here too cuz I have actually 3 in there that are trying to come up. There we
Yeah, don't
go.
worry, Dizzle. I will make sure that tomato gets a fair chance at life.
I did see a really good question. Are you still keeping them on a seed mat or on a heat mat? This is a great question, Julia. So, whenever I am germinating tomatoes, I will typically have them on a heat mat, which I actually do right here. I will show you right here. So I have this heat mat and then it's connected over here. Sorry, it's like backwards for me, so it's like very challenging to do. Um, it's connected to like a little outlet right there that's controlling the temperature, and it's set at I think like 75 to 80 right now. But I have this really large heat mat, which is super handy, so I can put a lot of things on there. And generally, what I will do is I will take them off of the heat mat whenever I am not germinating them to make room for other things because they don't necessarily need them afterwards. Um, Now, for me, I have this huge one. I generally just turn it down once all of my things down there have all germinated. I'm just going to turn it down and or turn it off and just keep it there because it's so large. But a heat mat is not necessary. I know Edvin up there, we didn't use a heat mat on those at all.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. So here in the greenhouse, it's temperature controlled. So like right now, I am sweating even though it's 50 degrees outside. So what we did is we had before they sprouted, we had the lid on there. That just helped create extra moisture inside of the dome. And then as soon as we saw them all get their leaves, I took it off. And like I said, since it's temperature controlled in here, that was perfectly fine. So we just left it off to not overheat them.
Yeah, and mine are growing in my garage. So it is definitely cold in here when it is cold outside. So we need a heat mat for ours. I mean, don't need it, but if I didn't have one on, it would take forever to germinate because it takes a while for them to germinate without that.
And Carrie, I say this from Yvette. Yes, we actually do have some pineapples growing in some 20-gallon smart pots. These pineapples were actually here before me, so I want to say like 6 or close to 8 years growing in the smart pot. So this one actually I have seen a fruit out of here. So I have seen it fruit. I just fertilized in here, so they're getting their color back. We have this one, and then we have this black one right over here as
Ooh.
well.
Okay, I am super excited. Whenever it actually does give you a pineapple, I better be invited to try it because oh my gosh, I will be so excited.
We'll have a pineapple party.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks
So
like
these have
Yvette
been in here.
says she came in late. She was asking about where the seed disc came from. So those are the So Effortless seed tapes or seed discs from Park Seed. And I don't think I have an example right here. I probably
Yeah, I was
have
trying to
one in
see.
the other
You
room.
can't really see it because I think I've put soil on top
Yeah.
already.
So
But
if you've ever seen seed tape before, it's essentially that, but it comes in like a little disc. They also have these amazing mats that you can lay down and plant like an entire garden from. I'm so excited for that. Okay. And like I said, pop your questions, comments, all of that into the chat and let us know if you have any questions or anything. Uh-oh, I disappeared for a second, I think.
we lost you.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm in the garage, so it's probably not super great connection. Um no, but I was saying every time you do go in and comment, you get entered in to win. Evan, I didn't announce the winner from last week, did I?
Oh, I don't think you did.
Oh my goodness.
The drum is
You
still
guys
rolling.
you guys have to forgive me on this. I'm very sorry. So, here's what we do. We always do a giveaway during this live stream. So one of you that is commenting right now is going to win at the very end of this. But somebody that's also watching it after the fact and that comments on this posting after the fact will be entered in to win. So once this is done, it'll go post to YouTube as well. So just pop in there and leave a comment after the fact and you'll get entered in to win. But let me announce the winner real quick. Congratulations. I didn't even look at this name. So Natavia Williams 5644. So congratulations. She gets a premium app subscription for the Seed to Spoon app, which is amazing. Comes with so many benefits, including free shipping on all of your orders, as well as unlimited visual garden layouts and unlimited photo analysis from Growbot, which is super helpful for me. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I definitely used it. Actually, there was some clover. Well, what I thought was clover growing inside of that pot of pineapple. And I actually used Growbot because I actually, when I was on the internet, so I was looking at that there's some invasive plants that'll actually look like clover and they'll grow inside the pot. So this whole time I thought it was, the good clover that was fixing the nitrogen. And then when I scanned it, Growbot let me know that it was invasive and that it was actually doing injustice. So I went ahead and ripped it all up. So shout out to Growbot.
Oh, well, yay. Edvin, here's a question for you from Robin. Do
Yeah,
you
I
need
did see
to
that.
water more?
Yeah, I did see that from Robin. So Robin, smart pots grow plants better. They grow more roots, like we just showed you. So if you think about it as like a bodybuilder compared to, let's say, me, a bodybuilder is going to require a lot more calories, a lot more water, a lot more nutrients than I am. So smart pots, what you'll end up with is a lot more healthier root mass. So if you notice, let me show you an example right here. So this tomato plant here actually started from seed, and I've kept it in this 1 gallon. And I actually have bottom water. So I'm a big fan of bottom watering my smart pots. I think almost a big majority of the plants that I have in the greenhouse, I actually tend to bottom water because it's a lot easier. It's little bit less guessing. So what I do is I actually have, if you notice here, this tomato in a deep saucer, and I water the saucer, keep it in some water, and what you'll get, so just like in the microgreens, you actually start to get feeder roots that are come through, and that means your plants being super healthy. So these extra roots actually uptake more water and more nutrients, which is the reason why inadvertently you'll have to water your spark pots more. So my garden at home, I use drip irrigation. It's just the easiest way. I run it about 30 minutes a day. And that's how I keep an entire garden of vegetables. So you're going to require a little bit more water, a little bit more nutrients, but you're going to get a much more bigger plant. I mean, if you notice this tomato from seed is, in this 1 gallon is doing great. So I actually probably transplant this out to a bigger smart pot. Actually, this is actually that seedling's brother. So if you notice here, there's a 20 gallon. So
We
that's that
lost
from
your
that.
video.
Oh, did that?
Uh-oh.
Is it gone?
We can
Uh-oh.
hear you
Hold on.
still, but we can't see you.
Um, I don't know what happened.
There
Oh, there we
you
go.
are.
Um,
You're
Sorry about
there.
that. I'm gonna have to figure out
You're
how to get that camera back. But yes, so you're gonna do the tomatoes gonna grow a lot more roots. And you're gonna get no circling roots as you would as like growing in a plastic. So that way, inadvertently, you're gonna have to water a little bit more. It just takes a little bit of practice getting used to smart pots. Also, a big help is the soil medium you actually use in smart pots. If you use the soil that actually keeps in a little bit more water, you're gonna holds in a lot more water. You're gonna be watering a little bit less.
awesome. Well, we have so many questions. So this is a great question here from Susan. Hi, Susan. She says, I have some leggy nasturtiums. So I actually have, let me grab my nasturtiums up here. Might be easier because I just watered. Here, let me show you real quick. So I have some nasturtiums growing back there. You can kind of see in the back, you can kind of see their cool looking leaves. They look so fun. I love nasturtiums. They're probably one of my favorite things. But I do notice they do tend to grow a little bit taller in general than other things. But I will say they probably are, if you notice that they are kind of stretching a little bit to the light, they might need to be either like raised up because you can kind of see how I have here. This is a good example right here. I'm using like some other trays right here to elevate this tray right here so it's closer to the light. Another way you can do this, I also have up here, which makes this so much easier. In fact, these are on these little hangers right here, these adjustable hangers, and they are so amazing. You literally just pull these up and down and it adjusts the lights for you. So you can have them like right on top of where they need to grow and then move them up as need be. So I would definitely recommend just like kind of looking at your lighting setup and make sure that it is like right above where it needs to be.
I did see this question from Matthew about strawberries. How often should I smart pot strawberries? And I honestly love smart pots for growing strawberries. The strawberry roots actually benefit tremendously from the constant air root pruning and growing, more roots. So what I find is that when I grow them in smart pots, I get a bunch of runners. So what I ended up doing is actually put another smart pot filled up with soil next to those runners, and then I'll actually get more strawberries from that. Actually, I think Carrie does the same thing. That's why Carrie, I think you have a bunch of strawberries in the back there somewhere.
I
So
do
on
here. hold on. I do. Look at this. So I just got so here. This is
Wow.
my yeah, so this is my garden bed that I have. It's a 4x8 wooden raised bed of just strawberries. And as you can kind of see like the mulch on the side there. These strawberries ran over the fall over into the mulched area and like recreated new seed or new plants. So it was amazing. I had a whole bunch of volunteer strawberries. It was amazing. I have like these full trays up here of strawberries now because I have just so many that were just in that mulch pathway. And I'll show you all here in just a little bit. I'll take you out to my GreenStalk that I planted out of it. But I also have this smart pot that I planted out of some strawberries. But I was really excited I had to share this with you, Edvin. I thought you'd like that too.
No, that's awesome. I wanted to show Matthew the this no cocoa liner. I don't actually have strawberries in here yet, but this Smart Pot no cocoa liner, these are great for growing strawberries. You can grow them just in hanging baskets, and you'll just like the other pots, you'll start to see the roots actually come through. So with Smart Pots, you can actually keep your plants in there a lot longer than you would any plastic container. What like, only thing that end up happening is just start to grow roots at the bottom. So I would really recommend, I mean, just let the smart pots, overtake or I'm sorry, let the strawberries overtake the smart pot. And then once you get runners, just bring another smart pot in and then, transplanting, just, keep growing strawberries.
Okay, my I froze, so I was trying to see if I moved locations if it would come back. So here, hmm, here, show them stuff, Edvin. I'll be right back.
Kind of trying to find here. Oh, and I should split and pot my tomato plant seedings. Okay. The question here from Laura, curious as to when I should split and pot my tomato plant seedlings. So I'm going to answer this based on smart pots. So with smart pots, you can actually um, you actually have the ability to kind of choose how you want to do it. So if you notice here, this tomato here, I actually grew from a seedling in a 1 gallon smart pot. So if I wanted to today, I can actually go ahead and repot this. Now I'm just letting this go just for just for testing purposes, just so I can get a nice root mass. Or what you can do, like I said, you can actually pot it directly into a larger smart pot, and then that'll take advantage of all the nutrients in that pot. So with smart pots, you kind of have the ability to transplant whenever you'd like. Like I said, this one, if I was at home, I'd probably transplant this out. We also have the smart pot transplanters. So this tomato here, I'm actually growing purposely in here to get a nice root mass. So when I go ahead and transplant it out, um, it'll again take over the container. There, you're back.
Okay. Sorry about that, Edvin. I think I lost internet for a minute or something, and I was like, oh no, this is not good.
No worries. We're talking tomatoes.
Okay, nice. Well, so actually, while we're on the topic of tomatoes, I do. So I let me show you real quick here. Um, Here, let me take my camera off. I have. You can kind of see back here. I have a 1 gallon smart pot right there with a tomato growing up, and it's like being supported right here from
Wow.
all of these other plants next to it. But this is one, it's actually not the kitchen mini. Usually I grow a kitchen mini inside on in these 1 gallon smart pots. But this one was actually a patio choice one because I wanted to give those a try too. So this is a patio choice yellow, and I wanted to try growing it inside here underneath. So this is my sunniest window that I have. And it's still not super sunny because we have all these big trees out here. But we have these grow lights that are hung up. You can kind of see them a little bit here. They are just like they're flush with this, so you can't really tell. And
Wow, those look really nice.
Yeah, and they have like they're literally just hooked up with fishing lines. So you with being hooked up here.
Wow. I love that setup.
Yeah, it's so cool. So we have had like so many different, like we've grown indoors, like so many different tomatoes and peppers and all of that inside. It's so cool.
Just want to show this question real quick. From Piona Sand Pinks. So what I rolled down the sides in the smart pot. So quite honestly, since the roots are on the outside here, this might be a little bit too difficult to roll down. So I might have to come in here, and I will film this so you guys can see whenever I do this. Might have to come in here and just kind of little just manhandle this a little bit. But it's perfectly fine because those roots that I get singed off will actually send a signal to the plant to begin to create more roots. So that's perfectly fine. Now, that is why we have here the transplanter. So with this, you just come in here and I can, unfold these two sides, and there is a lot less transplant shock. So this would be the correct way of growing seedlings in smart pots. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with doing it this way. And this is probably one of my favorite ways. It's just with a 1 gallon and looking at all those roots come out the sides.
Yeah, that is for sure one of my favorite ways too. So y'all notice I did change scenes again here. I'm trying to show you all as much as I can without like having to go in the wind and where you guys can't hear me. Um, so I'm sure with that sound you can hear that
Rooster saying hello
sort
to
of
us.
I am sort of outside. So right there was where I just was sitting at our dining table. But I am here in our sunroom right now, and here let me show you real quick what I want. So this right here is a wooden raised bed that we made for the sunroom right here. And it is super cool because we can grow things year round in here. And Dale like rigged this up too. He has like some grow lights set up here so we can literally grow anything we want here year round. And we have a whole bunch of lettuce. As you can see, I've been harvesting. I have been loving my my salads recently, especially like I didn't realize how much I missed them until I started eating them again. I was like, oh my gosh. But like check out how beautiful these are. Like this
I
is
mean,
the
it's just like
sandy.
right next to your kitchen. I mean, they can't literally get
Yes,
much better than that.
exactly. Like even the kids are coming out and harvesting lettuce and all of that. In fact, like this right here is my 8-year old's smart pot right here. This is a 1 gallon pot. He put some lettuce in there too. So he's got some growing here too. And
Wow.
yeah,
Don't let the bunny get in. Don't let the Easter bunny get in because you're end up with nothing in there.
I know we do have our bunnies in our sunroom also. And they do get treats. But yeah, this one is by
Some
far my favorite. This is the Sandy from Park Seed. Oh, so good.
It looks
But
so
then,
nice too. I mean, it looks like restaurant quality, vegetables.
oh, it for sure is. But I wanted to point these out too, because these are really cool. And these are actually smart pots too, which I think are awesome. These are their wallflowers, and I have them all around here. And they have like I grow like different things in there. I have like little mini I have like oregano, and I think we have some thyme on the other side. I have some little tiny greens going, and yeah, it's fun. I have some cilantro over here in this one. See,
Oh,
I have these all around it. So I like to be able to like make use of all of the places that I have, especially
yeah,
since
that's
this
a
isn't a
perfect
large
indoor
area.
salad station. Yeah, and like even if it's too hot, you can still have, those cool weather veggies in that room.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Ah. Okay, see if I can turn you around. Woo! Hello, everybody. Let's continue to walk. Okay, so hopefully it's not too super windy and you all can still hear me. Um, okay, I will try to show you here quick and then I'll get back inside. So these are all of my green stalks that I have. Whoop, if I can. Here, I'm going to turn it around so I can see it better. Sorry, guys. So these are all my green stalks. of them. And I is an entire one of strawberries. So remember I was talking earlier about all of those strawberries that we got from the mulched area in our garden. So we were able to fill up an entire GreenStalk tower here of them. And it's, I mean, it's awesome. But we have an entire one right here of spinach. And then I have an entire one over here of kale. And also, like, down here is some bok choy. It's awesome. I love having these again, like right outside of our area, and they're super easy to grow. So I have them on these like wheels platforms so I can turn them easily so they can make sure to get some sun. And then you just water here from the top and you're good to go. It's great. One other thing, I don't think my internet's going to reach there, but I do have a Vigo garden over there in the very back corner there. You can kind of see, and that's one of the places that I'm going to be planting a one of those so effortless mats. They have just these mats that I can put, and they are just literally I can just roll it out and plant like the entire Vigo garden of that. And I am so excited about just being able to simply just unroll and plant it out. Okay, I'm back to where it's hopefully a little bit better internet connection.
Terry, I hope there's not too much background noise. I had to open some of the windows in the greenhouse. It's good middle of the day. Once the sun starts to hit the glass, it definitely starts to get toasty in here.
Well, I was just out there and I was like, I was starting to get sprinkled on. I was like, I better get back inside because it's starting to rain
Uh-oh. Well,
here
that means that
too.
we might be getting rain in a couple minutes.
Yeah. But luckily, I got to show you guys our little setup that we have out there on the patio and all of that. So that was fun.
Want to bring up this question real quick from
Okay.
Rebecca. She asked, "What do you use to sanitize your grow containers, so your smart pots?" So smart pots are 100% reusable. We actually are made from a non-recycled material, so we can easily last you 10 years, indoors or out, snow, snail, or heat. So smart pots, what a lot of gardeners will actually do is they'll actually put their smart pots in a washing machine, and they'll put a little bit of OxyClean. Just make sure to not put your smart pots inside of a in a dryer because they are heat treated, so that will warp the smart pots. That's one option. I mean, that's like super extensive. Now, what I personally do, and what's also perfectly fine, is actually you can either get a pressure washer or just like a pressured hose nozzle, and actually just hose off your smart pots. I think that's what Dale and Carrie do. And then actually just set them out in the sun on a nice
Yep.
sunny day. The sun will kill 99% of the germs anyways, and they'll be ready for the next grow. All the like, let's see if I have an example. Um, I guess this one. So this one is not as old, but what you'll start to get, depending on like the water you use, you'll start to see a little bit of either nutrients or dirt on the sides of the smart pots. That has absolutely no effect to the smart pots, nor does your plants. I personally, I call them like just like grower stress marks. So they're perfectly fine. So like I said, just at the end of the season, once your pots are completely dry, just empty their soil. You can put them in a washer, or you can just like I said, pressure wash them and then fold them up and then ready for next season.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely don't do the washing through the wash machine method because that would definitely take
Yeah.
too much work for me. And I don't ever empty my smart pots. I just let them be out there. Like I have cover crops in them over the winter or other things growing, and I keep the soil in there year round, and I'll freshen it up in the spring with a little bit of compost, and that's about it. Yeah, but like you said, like we'll take a pressure washer to the sides if it needs some cleaning, and yeah, that's
I
it.
saw a question about your growth stocks. Oh, here we go. Denise asked, "What soil do you use in your green stock towers?"
So it's a mixture. So we got some. So we typically make all of our own soil. We do a mixture of it's Mel's Mix from Square Foot Gardening. So it's a third part vermiculite, one third part of coconut coir, and one third of um, compost. I was like, what all did I miss? So that's typically what I use in there. If I need to like add some extra on top and I don't have like a mixture made, then I will top it off with some bagged soil. If I need to, what's the bagged soil, Edgen, that
Um,
you always recommend? Because that's the one, like the one with the black
yep,
in it. It's
the
so
Sun
good.
Grow Black Bear mix. It's actually their top of the
Yes,
line.
I should
Yep,
remember that
it's
name. I should remember that name because it's so cool. I just remember what it looks like, and I'm like, yes,
Yep.
that's the one.
So they use a biochar, which is a kind of a newer ingredient in soil, and it's actually just a burnt up wood from the forest, which is actually has a super high retention rate for water and nutrients. So this stuff is really really good, and we've been running tests with it with Dale and Carrie, and I think personally, I think this is my favorite soil right now. It's able to grow seedlings, those tomatoes, actually everything you guys see here on this table. Um, the tomatoes and the lettuce as well. So that lettuce and these tomatoes are actually all grown in that mix. And like I said, they've been able to pop seeds and sustain growth. The lettuce, like I said, we have not fertilized it, so none of this have had fertilizer, which is pretty nice to see in that soil. Also for the microgreens are
Yeah,
also planted in their mix, and it's just super fine, and it works perfect.
that's awesome.
Yep. Had another question. It looks like from Malaya. I need a seat tray that is flat on the bottom for cups instead of ridges. Suggestions? Sounds like the bootstrap ones. Are those not flat at the bottom?
Yeah, yeah. So I have. Well, are you thinking not
Oh,
ridges
well, it's just
instead
so
of
just so she
ridges?
knows.
Because but this
Yeah,
is
so
for
she knows. Yep,
water
the
to sit
ridges are
in.
meant to where things are not sitting in the water if you don't want them to. And they also prevent channels for water. So I don't know if you'll find one.
She may be referring to like the ones that have like the actual like
Oh,
cutouts
maybe,
for the
maybe.
cups. So, but yeah, I love these bootstrap trays. They're amazing. I mean, besides, I mean, all of our seed starting we do either in park seed biodomes or bootstrap trays. I mean, that's literally all we use now. So it works
All
great.
right, Harry wants to ask. Oh, sorry. So let me mute myself. I don't know if you can hear that. The windows up are actually opening because it's too hot in here. So I guess.
I actually didn't hear
Oh,
it,
okay. Well,
so
then we'll keep going. So
I think you're
Harry, I see smart pot size recommendations for vegetables and strawberries. How about other fruits like blueberries and grapes? So yeah, just like I mentioned, so smart pots, they do very great for opportunistic plants. All the nutrients that you put inside of a smart pot are going to be uptaken by your plant. We've got just had we've scientifically proven that. So for example, like blueberries, we always recommend a 15 or 20 gallon with strap handles. In Oklahoma, it's actually super popular to grow blueberries in containers. So yes, so 15 gallon. You can also do a 35, 45 gallon. Like I said, those are opportunistic plants. So the more nutrients, the bigger plant, the more fruit you're going to get. So if you have the space, you could do, like I said, a 100 gallon. There's actually a blueberry farm here called Owasso Blueberry Farm in Owasso, Oklahoma, and they grow thousands of blueberries in smart pots. And they grow them in 45-gallon smart pots. So you can go to their farm and actually pick blueberries that are grown in smart pots. So um, yep, at
that's
a
awesome.
minimum, I would do a 15-gallon personally, just because any smaller, I mean, you're going to be wasting too much time and effort, in my opinion. 15-gallon with handles is a perfect size for, I mean, even indeterminate tomato, anything like that. Now, grapes. I have not done grapes yet, but I have recently found out that Oklahoma, there's a lot of places you can actually grow wine. So grow like wine grapes. So I am definitely going to be trying grapes. But I would imagine just like grapes, and like strawberries, you need grapes and blueberries. They require probably a correct amount of nutrients, and I wouldn't be surprised if they require a certain amount of acidity just as blueberries. So what I would do, I would grow it in like a 6 foot long bed, and that way you could actually get a row of grapes. So that's what I have planned. So and grapes, same thing. Just the bigger the pot, the better.
Yeah, I will say too that the Seed to Spoon app has a section in there for what size smart pot is recommended. So under each growing guide for each plant, so you can look up blueberries, and if you scroll down to where it has like the growing guide information, like if it's warm season, the like all of that information, there's also a section that has the different smart pot sizes. So it'll tell you exact like gallon size that's required.
Um, okay. MD, unfortunately, I'm losing my tomato seedlings. This is the first year they've turned out so poorly. I can't figure out if it is the change seedling soil or overwatering.
Well, I mean, it's really difficult to see to tell without looking at it. Um, but if you have premium seed to spoon access, you can send a picture of it up to Growbot, and it will give you exact recommendations on what's going on and also how to fix it too. Um, my guess, if you mentioned overwatering, I might tend to go with that, just because that is a huge issue, is damping off. You'll notice that your tomatoes will be thriving, they'll be doing good, and then they'll just stop growing. Like this happens too often, I feel like, but usually it's just sitting in too much water and it grows just mold or fungus, or like it's just not a great environment for it. So um I mean, it like I said, it's difficult to know what's going on without seeing it, but my guess is probably the overwatering. If you mentioned it was a little too moist.
And then Lori asks, at what point do you up pot the seedlings?
So I will say that really depends, honestly. Um, Let me grab my peppers here. These would be the easiest ones to kind of. Ooh, as I spilled water on
Splash
me.
zone.
Oh man. Um, Yes. Whew. Oh man, that was cold. Um, so they are going to. So let me see if any of these have roots growing through yet, because I've transplanted all of my brassicas. Okay, here we go. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of roots going in right here. So typically, if I'm looking for them to be overgrowing their area. So if there's a whole bunch of roots coming through and they are not getting the nutrients or the water that they need for it, then that's when I go through and up pot them. But generally, I'm trying to avoid that step altogether. And I don't really want to have to do extra work because I'm going to be taking them right outside. So I do try to kind of time it right, because especially with my tomatoes, I put my tomatoes in the larger, like that 18 cell that I showed you guys earlier, um, because I don't necessarily want to, like this one, you can see the size different. But this one, like I don't necessarily want to have to be up potting them. So yeah, it really just depends on the situation, but I will do it if I have to. If they look like they're struggling or the roots are starting to grow through.
Yep. And I don't up pot most of the time. I just plant directly into the pot that the smart pot that I'm going to be growing out the plant, like that 20-gallon tomato. And then
Yes.
Mary has
Yeah.
a question about the app. Can you please tell me how I know when my Seed to Spoon app is going to expire?
So I assume you're talking about your premium membership. So if you go into the app, I believe it's under, so I'm using my phone right up here for my, here, actually, I can just use seedtospoon.net or app.seedtospoon.net and I'll walk you through it. So if you guys didn't know, there's also a web app that you can use so you can use it from your computer too. Makes it super easy. Yes, there it is. So if you tap the three lines in the top left corner of the screen, it's like a menu drop down that you'll see, and you'll tap account and it'll show you your subscription info right there.
Nice. And I did want to address this. So Debbie, do you take the top of your ceiling after they have all sprouted, or just a few have sprouted? Now, I don't know if she means that if we cut off the tops. Um,
I think she's talking about the
Oh, take
like
the
the
time. Okay, I
domes.
wrote cut. Okay, okay, great. I just wanted to make sure we weren't cutting off seedlings because that would, I don't know if that would work.
That is a thing with peppers to do what's called topping them to encourage them to grow like bushier. But yeah, I think she's talking about the biodome lids. So, or like the covers that I have like on my bootstrap trays. So I leave them on until pretty much all of them have sprouted. And then so there is, yeah, oh, nice. I just took one off here. So right here, there's these vents on the very top of it that you can open and shut, which are really cool. So whenever they start to sprout, I'll come through and I will open up these vents. And then once they have all sprouted, then I go through and remove them all the way. So it's just, yeah, that's what I do.
And then Pamela asks, what size smart pot should be used for fruit trees? So smart pots, we actually started back in 1984. So we were actually invented to actually grow large caliber trees like fruit trees in the ground for 4 or 5 years at a time. So smart pots are designed to grow trees, and they do great for growing trees. So there's a lot of dwarf trees, and I maybe possibly Park Seed, I think, may sell some on their website, or other companies. So if you do a dwarf tree, they're
Yeah,
actually meant to be in a container. So something like a 30-gallon smart pot would do great, even a 20-gallon. Like I said, I always like to go bigger just because I know, more nutrients does a little bit better. But if you're going,
more
yes,
room
ma'am,
for
yes. So if you're growing a full-size tree, I would not be shy at going at one of those sizes to a 45. So what you're going to benefit from the smart pot is that it's going to be constantly air root pruning. So even that large taproot is going to get pruned. And you'll get a fibrous root ball. So you'll get the effect that the large scale nurseries are getting that grow trees and commercial smart pots. You'll get that same effect with your fruit tree. So like I said, I would personally do a larger pot, so 35, 40, if you have the space. If not, you could do a 20-gallon or a 15-gallon. Like I said, you're just going to get more compact root ball. You're just going and the smaller, you're going to have to be fertilizing a little bit more often than you will in a larger pot.
Yeah, we've grown like citrus trees, plum trees. We even had a cherry tree and a fig tree.
Yes,
We've had a
actually,
lot of
Phil's Figs.
trees in the smart
Shout out to
pot.
Phil's Figs on YouTube and Instagram. He actually grows figs in our smart pots, and we have a 10-year-old fig. I can't show you because it's outside of the greenhouse, but we have a 10-year-old fig. In a 10-year-old smart pot that we've had outdoors in Oklahoma City, Zone 7, which you're not supposed to be able to have figs outdoors. But like I said, it's our R&D facility. So yeah, and every year, Kurt, CEO Kurt, he actually goes out there and he picks figs and he eats them right off the tree. So
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
mean,
awesome.
there's the possibilities are endless, and I think that is, if I'm looking at it correctly,
Yeah.
it's like a 25 to 30 gallon. So yeah, I mean, just play around with it, and any of those sizes will do good.
Yeah, I think we haven't grown any of our trees in more than like a 25 gallon. We've used either like a 20 to 25. So let me show earlier. So showed you all my strawberries earlier, but here is one other bed that I wanted to point out just because it has this cattle panel trellis right back here that we're using. So I have two of these wooden raised beds that have just a cattle panel here just placed on its side. And then I use that to be able to grow vertically. So right now you can kind of see the little tiny peas that are starting to come up. They are not super big yet, but hopefully soon they will be climbing that trellis and coming up. And then in front of that, I have a row of carrots going. And then I have a bunch of lettuce in the very front, along with a few little things of cilantro. And I'm already getting ready for summer because I figured we can have those tomato cages set out and have just the lettuce going around. And then whenever it's time to plant our tomatoes, we're literally just going to like dig a little spot right there for it and just place it right there around the lettuce. We did that last year and it was almost like a mulch for the tomato.
Oh
Like it
wow.
worked so well. It did really good. And it actually the stuff that the lettuce that was around the tomato actually did a lot better because it lasted longer into the season. Like
Oh
it was
yeah,
cool.
no, the
Yeah.
cat the folding over the cattle panel. I'm taking that right out of your guys' playbook, and that's what I'm going to use to grow our loofah this year. And that's another plant that you've definitely inspired us to grow at home this year. So I'm super excited for that.
I love it. I'm not sure how this one. It's kind of hard to show with the format that we have here. Let me see if this one. Yeah, you can kind of see. So this is just a cattle panel also, but instead of it just being placed on its side, it's just arched over. And we use this again for trellising. We grow all sorts of things up and around those. And I mean, again, the possibilities are endless what you can grow vertically. And it's such a space saver. It's so much fun to like grow like and walk through things. Like it's just, yeah, it's fun. My favorite part in the place in
So
the
Mary had
garden.
this question: Are smart pots good for planting in the ground for bulbs so they don't get eaten? So there's actually a nursery in Midland, Texas called Aldridge Gardens, and they actually grow, I mean, hundreds, if not thousands, of geraniums in 1 gallon smart pots, and they sell them in Midland. And Midland, if you're not aware, has, I mean, almost like a desert-like like climate. I mean, it's super hot. I mean, there's almost nothing there. But Aldridge Gardens is great in growing their geraniums too because the smart pots with the aeration. So what they've told us actually is they have had some gardeners that actually go home, take the geraniums in the 1 gallon smart pots, and actually plant them directly in the ground in the smart pots, not knowing that they can be above ground. And they've said that they've seen growth come out even though they were actually inside the ground in the smart pots. So if you did want to try to plant the bulbs inside the ground with the bulbs, I would not be surprised that they would work. And if you think about how trees are grown in smart pots, they're grown in the ground. So what you'll have actually those smart pots that are in the ground will actually have intimate contact with the ground around it. So that actually help with temperature control. And then once your bulbs do sprout, they'll actually be able to tap into those nutrients and into that soil. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you have amazing bulbs that sprout from that.
That's awesome. I never would have thought of doing that before. I haven't ever done that. So that's definitely a new and unique
Yeah.
idea. I like it.
So Lori asks, is it best to plant seedlings outside while it's overcast? That's a good question because I don't know the answer.
Well, so I mean, I think that's so it depends because you do want your plants to be hardened off before you put them out. But if you are trying to rush them, then yes, definitely do it when it's overcast. But I mean, for in a perfect world, it's not really going to matter because you've hardened off your seedlings. Um, yeah, but that is generally a good idea. Just make sure there's no big storms coming in. I know for us, like with this crazy wind and weather and hail and tornado possibilities, it wouldn't be that great to do it in Oklahoma
Yeah,
today.
exactly. You never know. You never know in Oklahoma. So Sue had a question. Will smart pots keep gophers away from the roots? So now I can't speak on all gophers because I know you might have some mutated gophers. But the only time that we have heard of instances of rodents is if you're not aware, smart pot, we also make a product called the compost sack. It's a 50, we have two 50-gallon and 100-gallon compost bin that's made from our same smart pot fabric, completely aerated. So the only time that we had somebody actually reach out to us was actually from Canada, and it was during the winter, and I think it was had been below zero for quite some time. And they said they had a compost pile that was in the snow, heated up, and they said they actually had um, um, some animal actually go into the top and make a small hole to get into the compost. So that is the only time that I've heard of an instance of any type of animal wanting to get into a smart pots. The smart pots are made from a geotextile fabric, so it doesn't taste good. So like I said, unless you have some mutated something that's going around your garden, they should be perfectly fine. Like I said, like not even my dogs do anything. Now they will jump on top of them, but as far as ripping them up, I haven't seen any instance of that. And Dale and Carrie, I know that they're out there, and I mean they can get wild animals, and I don't think they have had issues with that either.
No, no. I will say, like, we get our fair share of squirrels that will jump in them. But really, like, nothing has ever gone in through the bottom or like torn it up or anything like that. So definitely
Yeah, Mary
protected.
said that that's wonderful. Her bulbs get eaten so fast. Yeah, I mean honestly, what I would try is get like a 5 or 7 gallon smart pot. You just plant a few bulbs, maybe by your door outside or on your patio. That way, those bigger animals are discouraged from getting them. You can definitely plant bulbs in smart pots. I mean, I have seen it done, and they look amazing. Same with garlic and onions. You can plant them in small 5 gallons. If you want just a smaller form factor, you can perfectly do that too.
I even grow carrots
Yeah,
in smart
yeah.
pots
I don't
too.
know if you knew Carrie. There's actually his name is Heavenly Hills Homestead on YouTube. He actually has an Instagram as well, and he grows a bunch of giant stuff. So he grows like giant pumpkins and goes to like festivals. And he contacted us one day and he was
Fun.
like, "Hey, would you guys be willing to help me grow the longest carrot in North Carolina?" And we were like, "Well, of course. That sounds like right up our alley. Why would we not?" So we actually, because you like right behind me, this is our manufacturing plant. This is where every single smart pot that you have at home that you've seen on the shelves gets made right here. So he called us and he said, "Well, what I'm trying to do is grow a 22-foot long carrot." He said that will beat the state record. So will you be able to make me a 22-foot
Wow.
long smart pot? And we were like, "Well, heck yes. We're literally the only ones who can do that." So I don't have a picture right now. I'll be sure to share a picture for
I was gonna say, I wish you had a picture of this.
well, while we will go through other questions, I'll look for a picture. But yes, he literally he nailed a 2x4 up his tree, a 22 foot. Like he got 2x4s and made this ramp up his tree, and yeah, he filled it up with soil and he grew. If I'm not mistaken, he grew. I don't know if I'm not gonna don't like don't. He grew a very 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 long carrot, and he also grew the biggest turnip in North Carolina in a smart pot. So I want to say I think he did
Wow.
actually grow that longest carrot, but it was a 22-foot long carrot. It was just a cylinder, like a cylinder, just enough for a carrot. But yes, let me see. Like I said, let me see if I can get that. But Heavenly Hills Homestead, he like I said, he grows a bunch of cool, unique stuff in smart pots. So yeah,
I'm definitely gonna have to check
yeah,
that out for
definitely.
sure.
Let me see. Yeah, if you guys have any questions for Carrie or I, definitely put it in the chat.
Yeah, sorry. Whenever I lost connection to the chat too. So I'm very sorry. I can't even read what y'all are saying right now. It's very sad. I feel so lost. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I definitely feel this with you cuz so I actually have so it's so funny that you say that because I am so late on planting out my potatoes. I was so excited because I got these in like last Thursday, I think it was, and my kids were like, "No, don't plant those without me." And I was like, okay, we'll wait for the weekend. And then all day Saturday, it was beautiful, but we were at the soccer fields all day with the kids. And then on Sunday, we're like, okay, let's go, let's do it. And then we grabbed the box of potatoes, and then we went outside, and it was like 50 degrees. It was so cold and windy, and the kids were all freezing. And we're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to wait
Yeah,
again. I
yeah,
was
we
like,
we
ugh,
drove by a big box store because yeah, I mean, it was probably the same week that we had the fall spring. I mean, it was literally spring 90s, and then like the next day it like got super
yeah,
cold, and we drove by like one of the big box stores, and they had a rack of dead vegetables because I don't know, somebody must have assumed that it was spring, but always look out for those last frost dates. I mean, the C2 Spoon app is a great resource for that. It actually uses your zip code. It actually triangulates based on other weather services that are near you. So definitely make sure you check out that, and make sure you're not planting a little bit early. I know there were some other comments, you couldn't wait for the weather, but I know, me too. I mean, we're
yeah.
itching. I mean, this is where we're growing stuff indoors, but you don't want to set your stuff out early just because you're going to waste all that time. Just wait for that last frost date, and then that way you're perfectly fine.
I will say, unless you plant it in a smart pot, we've done that before where we have like a couple of our tomatoes and peppers that we'll put in smart pots and put them out. Like if the weather is so cold, I mean, super warm, but we're worried they're still going to be cold. And then we just pick them up and bring them inside if there's an issue, like a freeze that comes in. So yeah,
Lisa, I wonder how
definitely.
many people that carrot would feed. Yeah, it would feed that
For
would be
sure.
pretty funny showing
Small
up to a
army for
dinner and all there
sure.
is on the table is just one long carrot.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us and hanging with us while we had technical issues and while we're walking around our seed starting areas, our patio. And yeah, it was fun though. And next time, hopefully, the weather is a little bit better and I'll be able to show you all outside instead of just showing you pictures of outside. But yeah, next time we'll do that. But this was still fun, and you guys got to see a lot of what we have going on here. But let me announce a winner. We have a lucky winner from here in the comments, and drum roll, this person gets a free 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription and a smart
Yeah.
pot. Congratulations,
Woohoo!
MD. So send us an email at info@seedtospoon.net and we'll get you all hooked
Yeah,
up
MD
with
actually
that.
won a 3 foot long Smart Pot Little Shorty bed. So it's a perfect size. I mean, you can grow indeterminate tomatoes, indeterminate peppers, or you can do like a salad bowl. The 3 foot Little Shorty is perfect, perfect for balconies. If you're a small space gardener, or if you want a movable pollinator garden. I think I'm going to actually grow a full pollinator garden instead of a little shorty this year, and actually use it as a way to attract pollinators in my vegetable garden. So congratulations, MD. Make sure you
That's
get with Carrie, and
amazing.
we can send you your smart pot, and you can actually get started on that premium subscription, which is you're super lucky because I mean it's at the right time, and you're gonna get free shipping on all the stuff Park Seed. I mean, I would definitely stock up.
I know I'm way too guilty of getting way too much stuff. As you can see, I have a lot of seeds, lots of veggies and flowers and herbs and all of that growing behind me. So yes, for sure. Yay! Well, congratulations. And this was super fun. Thank you so much, Edvin, for joining us and showing us around the Smart Pot greenhouse. It was very cool in there. I can't wait to get back up there. I'll have to come back up there maybe
Yes, we need to
Thursday.
get these guys in the ground. Well, not in the ground, and we need to get them into smart pots. And I'm so excited because I mean, we have this not only this greenhouse, but all around here, we're on a 12-acre facility. And I know there's a lot of spaces that Carrie and I are going to be able to put some beds in and try some new varieties. I know Dale and I have a lot of cool projects planned. We're actually going to grow, we're going to something like a tomato right next to a plastic pot and a smart pot, so we can see live and in person exactly what are the benefits of growing in a smart pot. I know you guys are going to be super excited by that. So just a lot of fun to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting. Well, thank you all so much for joining. We do these every week. Same time, same place. It's always 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We're always here chatting, gardening, answering questions. So be sure to, if you're not already following us, make sure you follow us at Seed to Spoon and then Smart Pots as well. And we'll see you next time.